Nope, I ain't starting yet. I'm back and I'm still not starting.
No escaping this. 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 No escaping this.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
You are listening to the End of the Bench podcast on Built for This Network, hosted by my man HRap.
Okay, I finally started. We're back. All right, we got a full house tonight. I want to salute everybody who's in the chat room. Salute. We're Built for This Network. This is the End of the Bench podcast. I am HRap. Thank you for tuning in. We got a full house. This is Build and Destroy, where we attempt to build up the community, destroy anything that's negative. Only thing we accept in is positivity. You already know this is a podcast. I'm rushing because I got a lot of people, and some people are cramped for time. Therefore, you know where you get us at: Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castbox, Deezer, Amazon, Podcast Addict, Spreaker.com, YouTube, Built for This Network, and right here, the End of the Bench podcast. You know how we do it. We get down. I got good people. We got good topics. And like I said, some people are pressed for time. I want to salute the people in the chat room. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that alert button. I ain't got to send you the notification every week. And you can just it pop up on your phone. You be like, what is this? And you'll dismiss it. And you say, oh, damn, that's B. But anyway, I have, as usual, Ray the Kev at the top middle. I have Charlotte on the right. I got my man Tran. And I got my girl Sin. We about to have an interesting conversation. We're going to talk about accountability in regards to our community. Not personal accountability, but communal accountability. What is expected? What should we be doing? The questions are interesting, I think. And I hope everybody else found them interesting. So with that being said, hello, panel. Hello, supporters. Let's get it cracking.
Hello.
Now, with that being said, first question around the box, because I got some people who are pressed for time. I really want to get some of their opinions. They extended themselves to me, so I'm going to take it to them. We know the history of our community. You know the history of the Black community in the United States of America. Who should be held accountable for the state of the community? Lack of businesses, lack of information about our history, and lack of property, things like property and things of that nature. Who should be held accountable for those things? I'm going to go backwards, Sin, Tran, Charlotte, Ready Kev, ears on everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Accountability. I think initially our captors should be accountable because we weren't allowed to know our history. We so removed from where we originally came from. That part of our history is almost like it doesn't even exist. But however, moving forward into present times, we probably could be held accountable for ourselves, because I can remember times when my grandfather and grandmother, worked their butt off to buy property. You know what I'm saying? And they told us, hey, you need to buy land, you need to buy houses, but we don't really share that in common no more with these kids. I be trying to tell my sons, hey, like I said in the last podcast I was in, stop buying these Jordans and putting diamonds in your teeth and go buy a building. Go invest in something. Go make you a business. License yourself. And then teach that to your kids, because that's what we're not doing at this point. So the only ones who could be so at this point in history, the only ones who could be held accountable now would be us for not spreading that information, not trying to collaborate with each other, and going to buy a co-op or going to buy a mall or going, going to buy us some land and teaching me, learning how to farm, and like there's so many things we could be doing, but we just not. We just not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Trey Mack, what's good, man? Talk to me.
What's happening, man? So I would say, based on the education that we got, the system that has held us captive for all these years is responsible for that. Because at some point, like I had to learn myself beyond what I was forced to go to school 1st through 8th and 9th through 12th. That wasn't my decision, right? So, my parents sent me off and they gave me the education that they gave me. But I always tell everybody I got more education, not being in a structured environment or a school environment, and learn more about myself after I finished doing all that, right? But like the young lady said before me, we got enough knowledge at this point, right? We got enough resources to find a better way for ourselves. Like just for me, and I can only go by the way I came up. My mother and father, they did what they could, but after they, did everything they could do for me, and they gave me the tools I needed, I went on. I was the first in my family to get a degree. I was the first in my family to own property. You know what I mean? So I took what they gave me and I moved on. And I can only use what they gave me as a blueprint for my kids to hopefully be able to do the same. And of course, not all of them will, but at least I know I gave them the tools to move on. And if it's self-education or finding, about who we are as a people, then that's what we have to do independently for ourselves. And we have to encourage that for the next generation.
Charlotte.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on. I love learning, and this is a wonderful panel. I've learned from every single person on this panel, and I appreciate all of you. So I'm in total agreement with Sen and Tran. The people who established our educational system still control that educational system, and the things that, we're told to teach our children and our students, and this has gone on since it's existed. And so they still control a lot of things, and we've had this discussion before. And so I feel like the initial fault lies with them, but just like Sen and Tran said, everybody on this panel, despite having gone through that biased educational system, right, has taken the time to get their own knowledge, right, to go outside of that box and to find the truth that we're not able to teach the kids. And so at this point, I totally agree with Seneca. It's on us. We can't, just accept, right, what's handed to us as truth. And we can't just accept the things that are done. If we want to see a change, we have to go outside the box. We have to want that motivation and put that effort in, and get the knowledge that we need. And then again, also get out of that, what's in it for me mentality. And as we've also said before, come together as a community, you know, um, and just mentor these young people. I continue to have these conversations, right, about even the way our parents discipline us and the way that has changed with this generation. And now so many parents would rather be friends with their children than to really parent. And so we need to go back to the things, that work. We need to stop trying to be friends with our children and teach them the right way, right? And give them that guidance that they need in their structure. And so I feel like right now it's a combination of the two. We have to be willing to put in the work and the effort, and get the knowledge that we need, and then put all that knowledge into action.
Okay. Kev, you up?
Yeah, so I agree with everyone's point. And just to elaborate, we have to recognize, when you talk about like our history, right? We really have to teach our history, because our history will lead to solving these other problems. Because once we know we can do, we will do. So I definitely hold our captors, right, accountable for making it difficult for us to maintain success, to achieve success, and then also to maintain it, because it's extremely hard to just obtain it, because they put so many roadblocks. And history would tell us that even with success, they will destroy or try to destroy. So it's very difficult. But we as adults, we have to teach our children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, everyone in our family that we can actually touch and really put hands on of how to do things from a young age, because we don't really have any mistakes allowed when it comes to us. We cannot make any mistakes. We have to be perfect. And it has to start at the beginning. Look, that's reality. They get an opportunity to make as many mistakes as they want and still achieve, right? We're not afforded that luxury. So we have to start young, right? And so middle school, as soon as you get an opportunity to understand math, understand, what credit is, understand what credit cards are, explain these things to them so they can understand how to keep their score up, so they can obtain property, so they can start a business. Don't when they talk about high school, right? Okay, well, high school is great. What are you doing after high school? What business? When you go for education, don't go for an education to obtain a job. Get an education to learn how to run a business. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, we get on that subject some other day, but we don't want to be slaves. You know what I'm saying? We want to be the people that give orders, not take orders. So that's the things we have to teach our children, and we have to start young. That's the only way, because by the time, they get into their 20s, their 30s, the powers to be have had a good opportunity to brainwash them. And so it's very hard it's very difficult to get to them. But when they are young, in preteen, what I'm saying? I'm talking about young. When they get understanding of what math is, that's what I'm telling you. When they understand what math is, when they can understand what a credit card is, explain how it works. Take the time. Don't take it for granted that they know. Make sure they know. So I think that's where it starts. Obviously, they are accountable because they captured us and put us in a situation. They constantly are putting us in bad situations, but we have to also take our accountability to this and say we have to do some things to help our children grow. So that's my answer.
Man, awesome answers by everybody. Only thing I would like to add is this. What I'm going to say is probably piss like 90% of the people who support me off. But I blame us 100% at this point. The reason I blame us 100% at this point is because of what Seneca said, and the reason I can speak like this is because I'm a victim of what I'm saying. Seneca mentioned that, everybody mentioned the people who captured us. In my opinion, 100 years ago, I'll give it 100 years ago. 100 years ago, that stopped. They're still accountable for what they did to us. Don't get me wrong. But I believe, especially our generation, everybody on this panel's generation, I think we dropped the ball. We were the first generation, in my personal opinion, and I looked at it historically, that had that, like me and my man Tran, like I'm not the first person in my family to get a degree, but I'm the first person of my parents' children to get a degree, right? I'm the first person of my generation. My mom went to school, her brothers, sisters went to school, so that they're educated, right? But they weren't expected to go to school. It was a totally different world that they lived in. They lived in a world of survival. Like, hey, we got to do this. We got to work hard. Around 65 till now, we were expected to move forward and go to school. And I put a book on Facebook today. Less school, more education. And I think what we did was ignore, as Seneca said, all of our parents and their parents were taught to get property, and they shared that with us. And I think we were busy assimilating. I've been saying this for at least 10 years. They used Dr. King's dream against us like a pit bull. Because, Dr. King was saying, hey, man, we have the right to do these things. We have the right to do this. And I think we stopped saying I have the right, and then we felt like we were obligated to do those things. Like here in Chicago, one of the biggest shopping chains at the time was Marshall Field. I'm going down there. They're going to take I've literally heard older people and people in my age group say, hey, man, I went down there. They wouldn't serve me, so I made them serve me. Well, we shouldn't have been making them serve us. Like Fashion Fair Cosmetics, created by Bob Johnson. Personally, I think instead of Bob Johnson getting Marshall Fields to put his thing in there, he should have created his own get down. He should have created his own store and had Black people all over the country. I think we've been too busy assimilating to the status quo instead of creating our own. And our ancestors and their ancestors, that's what they did. Wilmington, North Carolina. We done went through those cities a million times. During Reconstruction, we took over. We even had other communities starving because we were the only agricultural geniuses in North America. But what we did was we dropped our history. We listened to their propaganda, and we said, I could work at IBM instead of creating our own IBM. I could work here instead of doing our own. We went from 90% literacy, 93% literacy in 1960, less than 100 elected officials in 1960, and 50% property ownership in 1950 to 7% property ownership, 40% literacy, and 10,000 elected officials. So the more we assimilate into the situation, the worse off we get. If anybody want to retort to that, I'm open to it, but that's just the way I see it. I'm going to hold us 100%, especially my generation. What are we? Generation X, y'all? Mm-hmm. We X?
I guess.
I would say X. Yeah, I think X dropped the ball. Yeah. Anybody want to retort to that? Anybody got anything to respond to that? Thoughts?
Well, I think one of the reasons is because I think our parents more led us toward getting a good job, and lured us into trying to assimilate into the society the way Martin Luther King talked about, right? Mm-hmm. We were trying to have that great job, have that great career, working for someone instead of being, independent. That really wasn't pushed to us. I know it wasn't pushed to many people that I know, right? It was, hey, go to college, get a great career, work for someone, and there you go, So I think those ideas wasn't pushed to us, so that's why we didn't try to achieve those, But I think times have changed. I think that's why we got to change our way of thinking and our way of teaching our children, and teach them not to try to become, and I hate to say slave, but slave for someone else, slave for yourself. And I think that's the difference. Is the way we were brought up.
And to echo your sentiments, Benita put, I blame white supremacy 100%, because every time we build up, it insists work hard, and they enthusiastically destroy everything we build. That is true. That's ultimately true. And I just want to take total accountability for what we've done. The fact that they've destroyed things, I think we should learn from the destruction of our situations. We should build an infrastructure that can be destroyed. Other communities, and I do believe it's because other community we continue to inculcate other people into our situation instead of just look. It's the barter system. You got what I need. I do what you need, and we exchange. I think we continue to say, okay, it's cool now. Let our guards down, and then they get us. Again, if anybody wants to retort that, I'm open. The floor is open to you. But I don't think any of us are wrong. Just again, it's open for the conversation. I need the conversation to happen as much as possible. And as long as we continue to do this, things will continue to erode. The defeatist portion of our community will erode, in my opinion, and we will continue. Then at that point, we will build and destroy anything that stands in our way. With that being said, how should we hold corporate America accountable? We talk about accountability here tonight. We just talked about our accountability, and we over-index in most areas. We made Facebook pop because Facebook was really to troll girls on college campuses. These two nerds, and I'm gonna call them nerds, they millionaires now, but two nerds went to Mark Zuckerberg and said, hey, we want to rate the girls in the New England area at all the schools, at the Browns and the Harvards and those schools and the Princetons and things of that nature. So we're gonna create an app for this. He took it and turned it into Facebook. It was just a meager app. Next thing you know, we get on it, explode. Twitter is the same. Instagram is the same. TikTok, what was it? Divine, and Clubhouse went from a $10 million situation to $1 billion situation the moment we got in and put 10 fingers and 10 toes on the ground. I'm gonna go Tran, Seneca, Charlotte, Kev, and then back to me. Tran, speak on it, bro. Yeah.
Well, like for one, like I would say, out of being the ultimate customers, we the ultimate customers for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And we could never. I can't say we can never, but I'm just saying, like, we comfortable being customers, right? Look at this chain I got. Look at the Gucci sandals, the glasses, the diamond. We buy no matter how bad they treat us. We put money into their pocket. Like we had to have for us, right? We have to say, all right, enough is enough. I can go spend, the same amount of money or even less money to help my brother or sister that has a business or offer the same products or services that this other company, is more prestigious because white people, been wearing it and it's on TV for all our lives. And that's the stuff that we always see those brand names, but they are accountable, but I'm just saying for us, we had to find a way to get out of the just being customers and being happy being customers, right? And then being customers that I don't even treat it well, you know what I mean? Right? You know what I'm saying? We had to get out of that. And it has to be something within us, again, we had to teach and we had to learn that that's not doing us as a whole any good, being customers. We have to be the entrepreneurs. We have to have the entrepreneurial spirit, which for me, I've seen it more as I get older, with more people around me, more on my own, more in my community, I starting their own business and having that entrepreneurial spirit. You know what I mean? And like I say, like we was just talking about, who has to have accountability. This is kind of the same thing, because why would the people that's making all the money off of us and at the same time, not respecting us, but taking our money, why would they do anything different? Like, why would we Like how could they be held accountable while we still spending money with them? It makes no sense. They consistently make, products that, that disrespect us, that we feel like, oh my goodness, well, how could you do something like that? Right. And they making money off of it. And it'll be a big controversy. Then after that, Gucci, whoever, anybody, it's the same thing. But I just say on this point, I can't blame the corporations, because that's their business. Corporate America is vicious to everybody. If you white, black, whoever you are, by any means necessary. That's how they take care of their business. And however they become successful and stay successful, they'll do whatever it takes to get to that point. We have to try to learn and try to re-educate our own selves that being a customer is not the best thing. Just because I can buy the most expensive thing don't make me the most popular guy, or don't make me cool, right? We have to, to me, it has to be within us first to change our perspective as far as, am I going to consume this, or am I going to be the guy that sells this product to the people that I know that would appreciate it? You know what I mean? So once we can, and not to skip too far, but for me, I'm seeing that. I have a lot of friends that are doing stuff. Even you with this podcast, that's an example of it. You know what I mean? You setting up a platform where we can express these type of ideas. We need all these platforms for everybody, for every industry, right? Even no matter how small it is. That's how it started, as something small. But we have to just kind of reteach ourselves, not to just be the dude to go to the corner and buy the weed every day. Go get the weed and sell it to the other people that want the weed. Like it can start small. And I ain't just saying weed. I'm just saying, because weed is legal where I'm at, right? But I'm just saying we have to try to teach and try to, reteach our own selves that we can't just be the ultimate goddamn customers, because we buy everything from everybody. We spend the most money on everything, right? That got to change. We got to be able to go, but that's not how we taught though. You don't go to school to be taught how to be an entrepreneur. You get taught how to be a worker and to work for somebody else. You don't get taught how to solve problems, right? You get taught how to go in there and, okay, I got the house, I got the degree, I got the white picket fence, I'm married, I got the dog, I got, we still trying to live an American dream, but it was never our own dream, right? The king's dream done got crisscrossed, and now we here trying to live a dream that was designed for us to fail in the first place. So if we could, somehow reteach, because that's what it is to me. Corporate America is going to always be what it is. I don't care if it's a black person that own the biggest business. They going to act the same way the rest of the corporations act so they can survive. So they're going to do the same thing and use the same tactics that'll hurt us for them to make a profit. You know what I mean? So it's within us, and that's where it goes back to accountability. We just have to teach and have to relearn, what it is and what we want to be. And we got to get out of being the ultimate customer.
Love it. Only thing I would disagree is I don't think it's our nature to do the capitalism thing. I really don't think it is, because even when you look at the Black Wall Streets of the world, the Liberty Cities of the world, the Wilmington, North Carolinas, when we got down, we did right by each other. So that's the only thing I would disagree.
Okay, let me just say this. And I'll leave it at that. When you look at record labels, right? Puffy doing the people the same way that any other white label would do they own anybody, right? 5 Heartbeats. Red did the 5 Heartbeats. That's Puffy right now, right? Currently. So you can't, it ain't just a blank, we don't do that. We will do that, right? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not saying in a perfect situation, Trey. I'm not saying that, because even though we go Diddy, right? And people say Diddy is screw you. But Suge was known as a monster, but I never heard him screwing over anybody. And I heard he always financially taking care of people. Eazy-E was financially taking care of people. He got out of the trick. Jay Prince took care of people. Master P took care of people.
Yeah.
So that's 4 out of 5. Russell Simmons You don't hear about Russell Simmons?
No, well, okay. Okay, I'm not even going to get into it. That's a whole nother conversation. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I'll give you my example. You gave me a counter example. We'll leave it at that, bro.
Okay. No, if you got something to say, the floor is yours. It's no big deal. I mean,
of course. I'm just gonna leave that alone because we can keep on going on that. So I'll let you have that. You got that. You're right. But I'm just telling you that's like just a small example.
Maybe we'll do something like that in the future. Maybe that might be some more topic. Tell you what, you come up with 4 questions and we'll do that.
Right.
My man. Seneca, let's do it.
That's cool. We can rock that.
Corporate America holding them accountable. We can't. We steady putting our money there. Take our money away. The banks that's funding corporate America, take our money away. Invest in ourselves, invest in our own banks, invest in our own businesses. Yeah, we got a lot of people, black people with businesses. How many people actually going to spend the money with them? You get the same little restaurants or the same clothing lines and some sub stuff even better, but we ain't trying to spend that money over there. They charging too much. You want to go get a deal from them? No, go pay what you was paying at Gucci. Go pay what it's restaurants. And Mariano's cook your meal. That's a corporation, but you don't want to go spend your money down the street at the black restaurant because they charge you too much. But it's the same food, it's the same meat, it's the same dishes. You know what I'm saying? So we can't hold corporate America accountable for nothing because we spending our money with them. Pull your money, take your monies out the bank, put it in a black bank. I don't even live in Chicago no more, but I remember Seaway. Over there.
Sold out.
Huh?
Sold out.
That's what I'm saying.
One United, though.
One United.
But that's what I'm saying.
Black bank,
but where your money at right now?
One United.
You know what I'm saying? Where everybody got their money at right now? I can tell you where mine at. It's at Bank of America. And that's just from what I didn't learn. My money ain't in the black bank, so that's not helping none of us. Your money may not be in the black bank. That ain't helping none of us. That's not helping invest in us. Let's put our money together and invest in somebody else's business. Are we really doing that? We're not doing that. So how can we hold them accountable when we're not even holding ourselves accountable for what we're doing?
True that. If you're looking for a black bank, One United is the largest black-owned, black-run black bank in America. And yes, indeed, they own that. They own here, right here. And I got a cool credit card. My debit card got a Zulu chief on it. And you got the Harriet Tubman on it. And you got the Black Wall Street on it. So, yeah, they supporting us. They doing a thing. And actually, they're making a lot of major moves. I listen to a show frequently in which the president of that bank is on. And people call in and they were slapping her around on customer service. And they up there. And now when she started doing it, they had a 40% approval rate on their customer service. Now they up to 90%. So they listening, they paying attention, and they are investing in small black businesses. So listen to Seneca and do what she said. Otherwise, cayete, zip it. Charlotte.
I know it seems like I keep copying Tran and Seneca, but I had literally had this answer ready as well, and that is the power of our dollars. That movement, boycotting, doing whatever, but just like Tran and Seneca had already said, we too comfortable going with the flow, keeping up with the Joneses, even when we can't really keep up, right? Sacrificing home ownership to rent, in order to keep buying those things that Tran said, Gucci and whatever. And I still remember in the 80s how popular Tommy Hilfiger was amongst our people. And, he openly scoffed at us, right? He said, look at these black people. He's one of the more racist people I have ever heard speak, and was literally, laughing all the way to the bank on our dollars. So I truly think incorporating, going back a little bit to question number 1 as well, we need to stop being complacent. We need to stop being the customers, as Tran said. And our children need that financial literacy as well as the civic education. I can tell you I'm doing my part on the civic education. CPS has, put me in that position. I am a civics teacher with the 8th grade students. I'm trying to tell them, they don't have to wait until they're adults. They have voices now. When we were in high school, we were fortunate enough to have a consumer ed class. I didn't know anything about the stock market. Are you kidding? Nobody in my family knew anything about that. Investing, CDs, any type of saving other than, under the mattress. So even putting money in the bank, things like that. My parents did not have a checking account. They did have a savings account. So we ran to the currency exchange, right? Currency exchange also charges a fee, right? So again, all these little ways, our money isn't really coming back to us, but continues to go to those communities. So I think that financial literacy, civic education is key. And starting with the young ones, but even educating each other. So I know Brian will send me a text. He was telling me earlier about that GameStop thing. I didn't have an idea what he was talking about. I was like, what are you trying to say? He's like, quick, invest in this now because it's going to change tomorrow. I didn't know how to do that. He even gave me the name of the app, and I'm an educator, right? I'm supposed to know these things. I was like, I'm totally lost. So all of that is awesome. But yes, and not just supporting our Black businesses like Seneca said, but also, taking the stand and creating our own, as Brian and Raider Kev have both done, with their networks as well. And I appreciate you and just being willing to support one another. I think that's key, but definitely the dollars. We already know, right, that's going to hurt. That little time that we boycotted the NFL over Kaepernick, they felt the sting, right? And then
$4 billion.
Yes. So I definitely think that money is powerful, even if we don't have access to it, in the system the way it is. But yes, we have to be willing to change it. We have to step up and do what needs to be done.
Raider Kev, it's your turn.
Well, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating what Charlotte said, but I feel the same way. I did the same thing. I wrote these answers down, and my answer was money, financials, right? So I'm not just piggybacking on what everyone else is saying. This is what I feel. And just to use an example, I go a little more deep into the example of how we can do this, right? So, here it is right there, right? All right. So, One United, when Brian told me about that, I immediately went to it, right? Checked it out. Started telling people about it. They started checking it out. The one thing I heard was, well, they're not on Zelle. They don't do Zelle. It's going to take 2 days to get transferred money, okay? So I'm like, is that what's going to hold you back from investing in a company that's investing in us? You know what I'm saying? So you allow a few days of transferring your money to stop you from changing your community. In essence, that's what you're telling me, right? That's the mindset we have to get away from, right? Our dollars are extremely powerful. When we can know the worth of ourselves and our spending, when we understand the worth of that and understand it could make a change, right? Those 2 days would mean zero. You know what I'm saying? It would mean nothing, because these people are investing in helping you get housing. They're investing in starting, teaching you how to start a business. Bank One ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But these people are investing into the community. But we're going to not put our money in there because they don't have Zelle. You see what I'm saying? So
Let me interrupt you. They actually do have Zelle. You just have to download the Zelle app for now.
Oh,
They're working on it now.
Oh, okay. And they have a process. They have their own. It's just that if we all, because I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but they have an instant transfer program. It's just not the popular one, right? But if as a community, if we jump on It will become popular.
Yeah.
It will be the Zelle. You see what I'm saying? But we don't understand our worth. We feel like we have to play along. We have to do what they say. No, let's do what we want to do. And if once we understand that, then we can hold corporate America responsible. Then we can hold the music industry responsible, because if we take our dollars out of certain areas, look, everybody complain about, certain rap, right? Don't buy it. Don't watch it. Don't involve yourself with it. If you want a certain type of music played, gravitate to that. Understand how your voice means something, but you don't want to speak out because I'm just one voice. No, we are collective. Understand that we are a collective, and once we get that mindset, then all the things you complain about, you can fix. You can fix. But we on our own, and that's, hey, we talked about this the other day. This pandemic, it has taken us to a point that we don't socialize. We're independent. We focus just on our family, and that's it. And being social is no longer something that we do all the time, right? We need to get back to that. We need to socialize more, understand each other more, be around each other. And then, look, man, it's just, the answers to me is just, they're right there in front of your face. And it just frustrates me when people come with excuses, and I'm like, the answers is right there. All you gotta do is do it. So yeah, our dollars. That's how we hold corporate America. That's how we hold music industry, the movie industry. We hold them accountable by controlling our dollars. Learn how to control our dollars. That's my answer.
Yeah, I totally agree with everyone. And like I said, corporate America, meaning the music industry. I'm so thank you for doing that, because I sure left that off. Music industry, music, movies, businesses, and things of that nature. But I personally believe we can do one more thing. I will add this to you guys' point.
Okay.
I think, see, as Kev just said, if we start communicating more, we start interacting more, and it's not a self-promotion. Start tuning in here more and putting things in the chat room more. What we'll do is spark ideas. There are certain things that we know nothing about that are just sitting there waiting on us. What they do is offer things that we never go get. And because we're ignorant to those things, we never go get them. And then they sit there and then they get the tax break because they say we offered it. They just never came and got it. It's 1,000,001 business programs. Seneca said she hated that she couldn't finish, but man, it's all good. Man, I appreciate her being here because she always adds something wonderful. But what we have to do is start, like, everybody is like, hey man, these kids going out getting these PPA and the PPP loans and these small business loans. Those loans are there 3 billion strong every year. Those grants and loans are there 3 billion strong. If you go on the Small Business Association website right now, there are over $3 billion in contracts, government contracts that you can apply for with no experience. I listened to this program, and the man came on, and he is a millionaire because he keeps going back there and getting those contracts. One dude in Baltimore right now, and see, this is why, as Kev said, we need to communicate more. One dude in Baltimore right now, y'all ready for this? He got $1.5 million contract to count COVID patients at a hospital. That's it. Those things are sitting there waiting on it, and that's what we have to do. That's how we make corporate America pay. That's how we make the United States federal government pay and things of that nature. That Small Business Association, SBA.com or org, I don't remember what it is, but if you look up SBA, it's coming up. And I looked on there, and I was like, oh, damn. And even my lazy ass, I didn't do nothing about it. In regards to the stock market, I got a dude coming on to help us. Now, here's a hint. Here's something that everybody, especially you, Trey, because you got 3 boys. If you got grandkids, if you got young people in your life, and you got money that you can donate, open up, go to your financial institution. Please look into what is called a Target IRA. Target IRA. A Target IRA is, for all intents and purposes, is a It's kind of like a 401k, right? But what you can do is pick a date on it. Like, how old is your oldest boy, Tran? I can't hear you.
Yeah. 16. I'll turn the mic off. 16.
Okay, 16. Like, if you would, how old is your youngest boy?
3. About to be 4 next month.
He 4 years old. So that's what, 2033? He'll be getting out of high school? 33, 34?
Well, whatever.
You can get
long time. I ain't thought that far down the line. Yeah.
But like, okay, we got the 2000 whatever, and you can put, that's your target date, right? And you can put 10. Like, believe it or not, man, according to financial experts, or these people who call themselves financial experts, if you put $5 in a day into the stock market, you're probably in 20 years, you will have more money than you ever thought, because it will grow monthly at that rapid a rate. But a target IRA, you put money in for all 3 of your boys, right? Let's say they were all stair step 3, 6, 8, right? And if you to put money in when they that, and then just the day of their graduation day, they're going to get a check. Now you have a young man, like you said earlier, some of us gonna want to go get jobs. That's just who we are. I don't want to own my own business. I don't want the pressure. So, but guess what? He a college kid. He got 200 or 300K in his hand, and he can do whatever the hell he want to do with it. You see what I'm saying? And then your other boy, hey dad, I don't want to go to college. I want to start my own business. Now he got money for that. Or one of them just say, hey man, I want to buy me a house, and he go buy a house, and then he become a landowner. These are the things that we need to start investing in, like that. Target IRA. If you have young people in your life, please invest in a target IRA. You might be, because what happens is this: they start off at age. Let's say you start off at age at the birth, and you put in $25 a month in there, and they invest it aggressively, and then the closer they get to birthday 18 or whatever the target date is, they slow down so you won't lose. And then you hand them a check when they're a specific age. That's yours, son. What's this for, Dad? Whatever you want it to be for. Now, instead of going into the world short on debt, long on debt, he might be a creator like you. You're a creative. You're an MC. You're a storyteller. You can flip words and bounce words around. One of those boys is going to have that ability, but he might have it in just creative writing. So he might be able to write a movie. He might be the next Spike Lee. He might be the next Tyler Perry. He might be a tech giant. And I don't need y'all to learn these things. So y'all right, man. The best way you get corporate America accountable is to investigate them. Find out what they're giving out, because they're giving out a lot. We just don't, especially black women, and do like white men do. Affirmative action was built for us, and white men use white women to take advantage of affirmative action. I think they said 60 or 70% of affirmative action money goes to white women. So all these brothers out here with long-term partners and wives, your wife ain't got to be creative. All she got to do is say, yeah, it's mine. And you run it. And Mr. Brown is running it, or Mr. Johnson is running it, or Mr. Williams is running it. He worked for me. And his idea, and he exercising it. So that's what we have to do. Corporate America has a lot out there to offer. Coca-Cola, when I used to be an admissions advisor, Coca-Cola is giving away goo gobs. You would be, what I did when I was an admissions advisor is create one. I wish I still had it too, because I created an email with about 75 organizations that's starting off at 10 grand. I sent it to one of my mom's friends. She started applying it. My mom said before she transitioned, her home girl used those links I got and paid for her daughter's college. Just kept applying. Sometimes all it takes is, can I have that money? They want you to write an essay and they give you $1,500, $1,000. But just imagine, if you do that 100 times,
right,
you got $100,000 and your kid is debt free. So yeah, this is why I created this. This is why I transitioned from talking about sports, then talk about community empowerment, and went back to really, this is the original idea for my show, but there was going to be 4 people, 4, 5, 6 people talking about sports, but because I wanted different, varying opinions. And that's why I created this, so we can talk. Because that's, to me, the biggest problem in our community is nobody talks. We just be like, yeah, you know, the white man need to stop. Okay, how you gonna stop? You gonna stop, you know, and that's it. or you get the, you think you know everything. Either way, we still losing, man. So, man, I love everything y'all have said. Man, what's the third question?
On one note, before you go past that,
Okay.
once I got with my wife, before I even had a kid, she had a daughter, and since her daughter was born, and it's the same thing that going with my sons, we put $500 a year in a little Gerber baby fund, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter turned 21, whatever, or it's when they get 18, or we decide 18 to 21, whatever it is. But regardless, you know, she got 20 stacks made ready for her. You know what I'm saying? And the baby boy has got the same thing coming for them. So I didn't know anything about the targeted IRA, but it's the same type of, you know, because that's something my mama never did for me, and my wife actually taught me that, right? And that's something that I would gladly invest in every year, you know. So by the time they get 21 or whatever age we decide, then you got a little pot of gold that you can decide, okay, I want to spend 10 G's to get a car, I want to have this to buy, whatever. You got an advantage that we are not accustomed to having, because I didn't have that. You know what I mean? But they got a mini pot of gold for them, right? You know what I'm saying? At some age, but yeah, so I'm on that arc. That's what I mean. That's something that they can go on, you know, when they have families, and that's something that they can take with them. And something else that's really important, life insurance. You know what I mean? That's really a lot of folks, especially white people, that's they come up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something again. So like it's multiple come ups, right? That I have actually been investing in, that, you know, it never happened for me. I wasn't taught that, but that was information that I gathered, you know, through living, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm into that, and I am gonna look into that targeted IRA just to see if it's more advantages I can get in that as well. But again, and that's all I care about, right? Because whatever, and that's where, you know, and like I said before, that's where, you know, it takes a community. This is me and my wife, a small community, but it takes us to show them something, and hopefully they'll be able to expand on what we showed them. Like for me, I was able to explore that my mama and daddy had. They gave me the knowledge. They didn't have the resources to know where to get the funds or know where to use the funds. But from me, that's what I'm trying to do, because I was able to move further than they were able to move. And I'm just expecting that's the knowledge that I'm giving them. But I'm just saying that's a piece of something that I'm, you know what I mean, their future.
Yeah, hell yeah. And to double down on what Trey said, he right, man. I remember, I can't remember his name. It don't make a difference. Qasim. His name is Qasim. Qasim told me, he was like, hey, B, you know, he was talking about somebody in his family just transitioned, like a grandparent or uncle had just transitioned in his family, right? And with that, he was like, hey, man, I'm about to run into a whole lot of money. And I'm like, huh? He was like, man, this is what we do. We invest in, like 8 of us invest in $1 million life insurance policy for the oldest person in our family. And when they transition, we get like $1 million and some change of non-taxable money. And I'm like, what? He was like, I know it sounds morbid, but and he was like, hey man, it's my turn this time. This cat finna get $100K and he took off. Now he owned a couple of trucks, and he doing it. So we looking at it like, man, you gonna profit off your grandmama death, and other cultures like, yeah. Yeah. I ain't finna cry because I'm finna hit a lick.
Right.
And last time I talked to him, my man rolling slick and owned 3 or 4 trucks. He got a slick ass crib up in Skokie. And it's like, dang. And you know, it ain't like I hope that big lamb somebody died in my family, but I'm just like, damn. These are resources that, man, you know, we need to hold ourselves accountable. So poverty isn't a generational curse, because poverty is that curse. And man, thank you, Tran, for bringing it up. And exactly, man. We have to be accountable for our future. Now, with that being said, we're gonna talk about the past now. This accountability have an expiration date. And what I mean by that is, if I do something in 19 anything, because it's the year 2000, we 2 decades into no 19. If I do something in the past, how long should that be held over my head? We're going to go Kev. You know what? Since she's been biting off everybody, no, I'm just playing. Charlotte first, and then Kev, then Tran.
What was that comment, Mr. Williams? What did you just
I don't remember saying nothing.
Leave her alone, bro. What you on, man?
Yeah, why you
How about
popping up
that?
on
She
it?
said it. I know it's going to sound like I was stealing from everybody. I had to. I'm being, y'all know I'm being. I had to. I couldn't let that slide.
But no, I don't think accountability has an expiration date until you correct the wrong that you did. I feel like if you did something and you know you did something and you don't make amends, it's gonna sit there until you do, and sincerely make amends. Don't just, pacify your action, whatever you did. And I truly believe that. I feel like we're created to do good, and if we don't, it's gonna come back and we're gonna suffer the consequences of that. So I feel like no, accountability does not have an expiration date until you fix what you're accountable for.
Kev.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one of the reasons why I feel like that is because we don't have that luxury. We make a mistake whenever we made it. We could be a toddler. If our name is on something and we made a mistake, hey, back when you were 6 years old, you did such and such. So no, you can't have that house. Or no, you can't start this business. You know what I'm saying? There's never a date on our mistakes. So I would never put a date on theirs. So, and I'll apply it to this. So some people, my stance on reparations, right? And it's not that I'm against them. I just feel like there's another path that we can control. That's the only reason why I have a different opinion. But when people bring up reparations, I'm for it because I think they should be held accountable. Because not only were, we were abused and not get, and we never was, we never got past that because we're still getting abused and just in different manners. They've taken that same blueprint and just using it in different ways. So because they haven't been held accountable, they're not going to correct it. They're not going to change. They feel like, hey, you know what? It worked in the past. Let's repack it, relabel it, and do it again. Oh, we still got away with it? Okay, let's repackage it, relabel it, do it again. And until that stops, until you hold them accountable, they will continue to repackage it, relabel it, and do it. So I firmly believe that there's no expiration date on anything that has been done to us, period. And there's no way you're going to ever get me off of that one.
Trey. It's on you, Trey.
So this kind of like my answer might be a little, my answer might be a little bit, two-sided right? Because all I can go on is like, you know, I was 18, I got locked up, I was dealing some drugs, whatever. I did my little probation, you know, whatever, right? But then when I was 29, you know, just, you know, got a degree and got a, you know, and, you know, get some no name ass dudes trying to relitigate the case. You know what I'm saying? Ask me what happened and what I did and what? No, 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 no. I did that already. You know, you can't, it's not double jeopardy. You can't charge me twice, but that always like that. And that's still, even to this day, right? That little thing, like I have to, I'm still trying to get a charge on my record expunged. Like, so in this society, they hold you accountable forever. So I'm gonna hold them accountable forever, right? But for, you know, personal accountability, you are held. I hold my own self for, you know, responsible for all of, you know, mistakes that I made and you know, the bad judgments I made, regardless if I paid for them already. I'm saying, you know, if I can make it right, then it's my job to make it right. But that's personally, like as far as, you know, systematically and stuff like that, you know, once it happens and it's done, it's done. You can't, you know, you can't charge me twice for the same crime. Like I already got punished. Now you're gonna punish me again. But that's the way their system is set up. That you it's a constant state of punishment, no matter what else you did and how past that point you been. But then at the same time, they want to tell you, well, people change. Well, I changed. I was 18 when it happened. I'm 50 now. So when are y'all gonna change the way y'all view me, right? You know, but that still hasn't stopped me from doing anything, right? That still didn't break my spirit because I understood, you know, the person that I was, and it always goes back to who I taught, you know, who I was taught I was, you know, and what was put into me with my parents and my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles and everybody in the family put into me. They gave me enough to know that, you know, okay, yeah, I fucked up and I paid for when I you know, when I effed up, right? But if y'all gonna still keep on charging me, that's fine, but that's not gonna stop me from moving forward. You know, that's personal accountability though. I mean, for that, that never stops. You know what I mean? But I think it should be, if you make a mistake, how long can you really be held accountable for that mistake after you already paid for that mistake, right? Like it's got to be some balance somewhere, right? But I say personal responsibility is up to the individual to rectify that situation somehow if they can, right? You know, at least, you know, have an understanding with the higher power. You know what I mean? Something, but you know, it seems like, you know, especially for personal accountability, like I say, I'm gonna always stand on that. You're gonna have to stand up to whatever it was you said or whatever it was you did, and whatever consequences come with that, that's what it is. So that's why even it was frustrating, but they was coming to me with these conversations, you know, asking about what happened and what I did. You know, no, I already answered them questions, but now I got to answer them again and satisfy, you know, you to want to hire me. You know what I mean? So it's weird how that works, but like I say, for me, personal accountability just lasts as long until the individual involved rectifies the situation. If it can be rectified in any way, you know, at least get it right with God. You know what I mean? And the other part of it, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna, you know, if they got something on you, they're gonna hold it over your head for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And you just can't let that be a barrier to stop you from moving forward. So, and that's where it's even more accountability, because you can't let that define who you are. And I just didn't let that, even though it felt bad, because I seen guys, right? I was on the dean's list. You know, I did good. I did good. I made my mama proud. So that was my accountability for the time I messed up when I was young. You know what I mean? That was my personal accountability for me to rectify all that. You know what I mean? And then when I get to where I'm supposed to be now, I see people around me that's not on the dean's list, that don't have at least a C average, right? They getting offers, they going into that room over there and they holding me back like, no, well, security is gonna call you. And I'm like, what? Security gonna call me? But the dude got a D average? Something ain't right here. You know what I'm saying? So I was held accountable, and was willing to, okay, I eat that. I got to do better than everybody else because I know I got some blemishes on me that's going to make people look at me a little bit harder, right? So I did that. But at the same time, I still got to deal with that. You know what I mean? And I already did my part. I was on probation. I had to go, to go see my probation officer and do all that extra ridiculous stuff, right? And that thing is still on me. Like, I want to go get me be able to conceal carry, but I got a damn felony. So guess what? I got a strap. If somebody run up on me, it's not gonna be pretty. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the black Kyle Rittenhouse if I have to be. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? That don't matter. I'm gonna live. And we could deal with all the rest of the details later. But I'm just saying, like, on some real, for me, I'm pushing through it. I don't even care about nothing. I did what I had to do, and I just feel like, man, the universe is gonna make sure I get what I need because I did my part, and I paid for all my sins. Period. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, and I never feel like a victim because I know what I did. Right? You know what I mean? So yeah, I gotta pay for it. That's fine. But you can't make me pay 2 times and 3 times. Right. You know what I mean? So for me, personal accountability, it lasts till it's not there no more. You know what I mean? Till you are accountable for your own actions for you, not because somebody making you be, but to get the understanding of what you did. Okay. Right. But the other accountability, they control that. And they'll use that over your head for the rest of your life if they can, and that'll cause you to stop trying to do what you know that you need to be doing, right? So, but your personal accountability won't let them stop you from doing what you have to do, if that make any sense.
Now that makes perfect sense. I spoke about that Tuesday, as a matter of fact. I was like, hey man, you can't keep the only way to move forward is to move. I mean, go forward is to move forward. If you keep reading that last chapter, you ain't never gonna write the next one. So that's pretty much what you were saying. Yeah. And believe it or not, well, you listen to the show. Well, the people who are new to the show, believe it or not, what Tran just said is my life's work. I want to make it so if I committed a crime when I was 18, if I committed a crime when I was 30, it shouldn't be on my name when I'm 50 if I'm a law-abiding citizen. Right. If you are going to hold this over my head into perpetuity, leave me locked up then. Because if you're never going to let me escape a mistake, then leave me in the damn box. Because then I can't, you're just trying to hamper. See, I believe this is why that movement, and again, don't get people who love to major in the minors, don't get it confused what I'm saying. The whole Me Too movement, I think it started off with that sister from the Bronx, and she was like, I've been assaulted. And now they've weaponized her movement and made it so that contributes more and more to this civil war. And really, I believe they created a civil war between black men and black women. So we talking in 2 different directions. Black men talking going to the east and black women talking going to the west. So we got to go around the whole damn world to get the understanding when we could just we back to back. All we have to do is turn around and talk. But the accountability, how that ties into accountability is like this. The Me Too thing is digging up stuff that we're calling offenses from Eddie Murphy in 1982 with Delirious. Well, he said faggot. Well, knock it off, because if that's the case, y'all gonna have to clear out Congress, because most of those dudes in Congress either sexually assaulted somebody or said the word nigga. You can bet your last dollar on that. You would have to clear out all branches of government if we held people accountable for what they said 30 years. As a matter of fact, the dude who's the president of the United States of America in 1988 stood in front of the world and said, hey, if Haiti sunk into the ocean, who would care? But he leader of the free world. He said that. So he just said, F all those Negroes down there.
Right.
So I believe, and I'm not holding him accountable for that. I'm not saying, oh man, he should be able to slide for that. Because see, it's a difference in an offense like what my man did. Okay, Tran made a decision at age 18 that it wasn't the best or a worst decision. It was just a decision that he's paying for now. Something of that nature at age 18, nobody should be paying for it when they're 39, 49, and 50 years old. Nobody. But Joe Biden said that when he was 40.
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's not forget, he used to hang out with this dude by the name of Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was one of the biggest bigots in the history of our modern government. So when you hanging out with a racist and then you say an island of black people should sink into the ocean, you might just be racist. I'm just saying. I'm not going to call you a racist, but you know,
Yeah.
like Stephen A. Smith say, now this is 2 shows in a row. I done quoted Stephen A. If you walk like a duck and talk like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose.
Right.
So, but when you looking at this cancel culture and Kevin Hart, you saw the context and what he was saying. But it can't be a joke anymore. Dave Chappelle is clearly trolling. He is clearly trolling this community. And let's cancel him. And like Big Illinois said, cancel Quentin Tarantino, Scorsese, and Kubrick for all the unnecessary use of the word, the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to cancel somebody, cancel, but see, the thing is, man, I believe you shouldn't be held accountable for things that were said in jest, mistakes as a youth, mistakes in general. Okay, I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to use it. Victimless crime mistakes. Like Tran and myself, I'm going to admit it, Tran and myself are the same guy. Only difference in me and Tran is the police caught up with Tran. They didn't catch up with me. So am I better than Tran? No, I'm not. We the same dudes. If you lie all the time and this guy lies once and gets caught, y'all still the same liar. Right. He just got caught in his lie. And people are trying to hold people's feet to the fire into perpetuity, and that's just not realistic to do. And that's why I said, man, this is another thing that goes back to the first question. What do we need to do? Because guess what? If Trend is in the IT world, if I had a IT company if I was an IT contractor with somebody big, like who was that? Angus, or I can't think of the name of this. It's a smaller computer company, but they really just make chips, and then they expanded to making laptops and desktops. Why don't we just do that and then start shipping stuff to Microsoft? And then we don't need to work at Microsoft. You can work with HRap Technologies, and then we can focus on the trans and on, God rest his soul, my cousin Vincent. 2 extremely intelligent people, 2 extreme aces. That's what it is. Aces. Yeah. They just used to make microchip.
Right. Yeah.
Now they make computers. So if we create our own aces, thanks, Aunt Big Illinois, thanks. If we create our own aces, we ain't have to worry about that, because then we can do what we need to do. But we not doing that. We going, hey, let's go get a job at IBM instead of making our own fucking IBM. And that's the problem. We keep trying to assimilate. And until we do our own thing, we'll continue to be subject to everybody else's tyranny, because everybody on this screen has done way more than they had to. And then you watch the 30% special needs dude over here get the job. And I can even take it back to my collection career. It was this cat. I ain't gonna say his name. He might be listening. He's one of my Facebook friends, but he beat me by $30K one month. And that check that he beat me by is still bouncing. And he got a promotion off of it. And when I finally got the promotion, I became the #1 supervisor in the United States of America. So how did you beat me? It's the Good Old Boy Network. We keep playing their game and keep losing at that game. We have to do like, what's the white boy name that killed himself? Mac Miller. He created his own lane. And then like it's everything that we talked about tonight ties in. If we support each other, we don't need anybody. We don't need any Grammys. We don't need any Oscars. We don't need Microsoft or Intel or Apple or anybody to support us, because we'll do it. And that's what a true accountability is. We need to do what we need to do to make things possible. Oh, Ant said, Tran is cool, but you suck.
I'm cool with that.
Last
You my guy, though, B.
Last question of the night. How should we hold public figures accountable? Politicians that are not doing their job, celebrities that we get behind full steam and they don't do anything for the hood. What is it that we should be saying? What should we be asking these people for? Or should we be asking them for anything? Tran, Charlotte, Kevin.
I don't think we should be asking them for anything, right? If you're not supporting what the community, the needs of the community, or you in a position where you have resources that you can, assist the community with and offer to the community. If you're a good actor, you just a good actor. That's as far as it goes. Like, we need to stop, and this is something that it was something on Twitter that somebody wrote something, basically saying that rappers will never be community leaders because what they talk about, like in general, not all of them, right? But just especially now, it was more of a balance back in the days. But I'm just saying, we gotta just stop supporting them. Just only like them as an artist, and that's all you are. But you can't tell me about social commentary, or I can't expect nothing more from you than what you're willing to give, right? If I can't, I can't ask for you to do nothing for me or expect for you to do nothing for the community. If that's not what you want to do, you have to want to do that. We have to just look at them as, okay, you could be an actor. Well, an actor is just like the guy that work at the register at McDonald's. That's your job. That's it. We don't have to idolize anybody. Nobody should idolize any other person. Right. And, as long as we, and that's something that we have to actively as parents. I got it because my kids love some of the people they love. And I got some people that I love, but they just people with flaws. Like I love R. Kelly, but he's a trash person. And a lot of people loved R. Kelly and knew he was a trash person for a long time. I've never watched his little sex tape, the P tape, but everybody I know watched that tape. And even after that tape, they still love this music. I never wanted to watch it because I'm like, why would I watch something like that? That sounds ridiculous, right? But a lot of people knew about what he was, and until he got convicted, then now they're like, oh. But y'all treated him like he was something special until the point where he got convicted, even though you knew in your heart of hearts this is what he was, right? So we have to learn or teach. The people in our circumference that's close enough to us, especially the kids. Okay, if you like them as an entertainer, they could jump high, they're a good sports player, they could sing, they could dance, whatever. Like them for that. But beyond that, you don't know them. Don't idolize them. Don't put any extra feeling or any extra energy into who they are. Like what they do, and that's where it ends. Like you could like a racist white person for what they do. You don't have to like them personally, right? You could like anybody. You could like a killer. I know killers that I'm cool with, right? I don't like the fact that they killed, but okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't idolize them. I know, and when we had them type of conversations, nah, nigga, you in jail because that's where you at. You put your, I don't want to hear all of the circumstances around how you got arrested and who did what and who said and blah. So no, you there because you put yourself there. And these are the conversations I have with my guys. And these are my guys, right? I still got love for them, but I still understand they did the most bogus shit that you could possibly ever do in lifetime. And you got caught for it and you serving your time for that. Me and you ain't gonna have a conversation that's gonna sway from that. I'm gonna remind you anytime that you try to go that way. No, you the one that's in jail, not me. I don't work, if you want me to do something for you, help you out, and I put money on your books and do just because you my guy. I don't have to agree with what you did, and it be circumstances around it. Yeah, it's understandable, but don't start blaming nobody else, right? Eat that. Every time that's that accountability. You can't escape that. They holding you accountable. Now you have to hold your own self accountable too, not just to me, to your own self, right? And I preach that to my guys, and the conversations I have, I'm dead serious on that. I'll tell them every time. I never side with them. Whatever they do, I'll leave that alone. I don't talk about that. But when they answer his phone, nobody supporting me, he don't want to do. No, you in jail. Everybody ain't on your time. I can answer my phone or I don't have to. You can only use the phone when they tell you can. That's the difference, right? When I send you money, I'm doing that based on my love for you. Not because I owe you something just because I'm one of the guys. Don't just, think that I'm just like I'm your sponsor, your jail sponsor. No, that ain't who I am. I'm your guy that's showing love because everybody else, including your family, cut you off except me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's only because the person who I am. Right? I can't throw you in the trash, right? But on that part, I can't go there with you. We ain't gonna agree on none of that. When you start blaming other people and he ain't, and nobody, and they hating, and no. You committed a crime and you serving everything you doing is the consequences for everything you did. So let's start right there. And as long as we on that level, we cool. But once you start veering off, we're going to have that conversation. You can hate me as much as you want to, but your next free phone call, you calling me. You know what I'm saying? And we can talk about whatever else next, but we're going to get right back down to it, right? And that's the part I'm talking about. I hold them accountable for what they did. They have to hold their own self accountable for their own, again, it's not the conversation we always having. I'm not gonna already tell you, yeah, you guilty, you bogus, you dumb for doing that. No, you know that, right? So I don't have to tell you that, but hold your own self accountable. And that's the first thing we started talking about. We all have to hold our own self accountable for all our actions, all our words, all our everything, right? And that's all you can do for your own self. And after that, once you done held yourself accountable and you done been held accountable based on what you done did by society, then that's all you can do, right? And then beyond that, keep on going. But yeah, that's all I can say on that one, man.
Charlotte?
These two gentlemen are tough acts to follow, let me tell you. But yes, I want to say, in terms of politicians, the way we can hold them accountable is by our vote, right? So if I'm not happy with my alderperson and I've gone to his office and I filed this complaint 1,000,000 times, he refused to see me or acknowledge my problem, then I know what to do when it's time, right, to elect him. I get rid of him. So that's what I say about politicians, even though somehow in the back of my mind, and it could be the electoral college, I don't know what it is, but I don't want to be the Debbie Downer and say our vote don't count, but I still feel like there's some rigging, some behind the scenes things going on with elections and politicians who are put in those positions as well. But in terms of what we can do, we can definitely get in that line and cast our ballot, right? To say at least we tried, we did our part. In terms of celebrities and pro athletes, I completely agree with Tran. we need to stop thinking that they owe us. But we also had this conversation before. We also make them, right, with our dollars again. So it's kind of like a little circle there. So we definitely should not be putting them on these pedestals as if just because they're in the spotlight, they're better than the rest of us, which goes back to Raider Kev saying we all need to recognize the power that we all have as individuals in our own self-worth, in our own value, not just to ourselves and our family and our loved ones, but even in this platform, as Brian, you have said many times, right? Our goal is to uplift our community and our people. And so in that respect, the fact that I think going back to even to my upbringing with my parents and just, again, learning, right? So if I know something, I'm not going to keep it to myself. I have to share it, especially if it's something that's going to uplift or help other people. That's just who I am. If I have it, you have it. If I know it, you know it. And so, yeah, that thinking of some people are better than others, that doesn't fly, right? We're all equal. We're all human. We're all created the same. So in terms of always expecting things or expecting better out of people, again, because they're on that platform or they have that spotlight, that does need to stop. And again, we've also had this conversation with some celebrities giving back to our community in a public way, in a generous way. And that's a good thing. So we don't want to stop that. So it's kind of like, a battle back and forth between, yes, we want them, to give back because they have it just like we would do. But we need to stop putting them on the pedestal or expecting them to, right? Because they really don't have to, as Tran said, an actor, that's his job. He's supposed to, do that or whatever. He entertains us. So we pay him for that entertainment, just like we pay these other businesses. So those are my thoughts.
Ready, Kev.
Okay. If you don't mind, I need to go back and touch on something Tran was saying earlier about when our people come out of jail, right? And they were held accountable, and the system is going to always hold them accountable, right? They're always going to be at a minus. When they come out, they're not at zero. They're at a minus, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm dealing with this right now, right? So I'm not saying we should give them anything, but we should support them, right? They are already dealing with enough obstacles, right? Support your people, right? There are a lot of good people that are in jail. They spend their time, they do the crime, they spend their time, right? They are supposed to be rehabilitated, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Mm-hmm. The system is already going to hold everything over their head. As their people, let's not hold that over their head also. So we need to support our people when they come out because they need all the help that they can get. I'm not saying give them a red carpet and just allow them to do whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Support them. They need a ride to work, give it to them. You understand what I'm saying? They need a place to stay. Help them out. Help our people when they come out because they need it, man. They truly, truly need it, right? I really appreciate what Tran did and pulled himself up. That's admirable. But there's so many people that slip through the crack and because they don't have the support. So I want to add to what he was saying. Let's support our people when they come out. They need it, right? When it comes to holding celebrities and politicians basically, only thing that we can really do is, like Brian has said in the past, call 5 app, right? Download it. Call the people. Give them your voice. Let them know what's going on, and your voice. Your opinion about what's happening, right? Hold them accountable for the things that they said they were going to do things when they were campaigning. Let's hold them accountable for those things. Don't let them get by. Right now, Biden has said so many things he was going to do for us, and he ain't done. Excuse my language. Look, he ain't done nothing, right? And it's basically because we ain't holding him accountable, right? He's helped everyone else, yet to have helped us. So let's keep that in mind, okay? When it comes to celebrities, I like what Tran has said about we can't expect them to be social conscious. They are athletes. They are entertainers. They work on their craft. Doesn't make them good people, okay? So we can't expect them to be good people, all right? But here's what I will say about that. Because I made you, you can only exist because I made you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I come to you and you turn me down and don't help my community, don't help my school program, don't help buy, book bags or whatever, and I call you out, don't sit there and say I'm wrong, because I made you. Without me and my dollars, you would not have your dollars. So I'm not saying I expect you to do it on your own, because you are who you are. If you LeBron James, right, and that's what's in your spirit to help, you're going to do it, right? If you're other people, not going to mention any names, and that's not in your spirit, then you're not going to do it, okay? But when I come to you and say, hey, look, man, I got this program. All I need is, $5K. It will help so many kids get back to school and get back on track. When you turn me down and I say, hey, X turned me down, don't come at me and say I'm wrong, because I made you. So I will say that about that. So I don't expect him to, but don't look at me cross-eyed when I come back and I call you out, And I think, and I want to highlight what we said earlier in another program. Things when guys, and LeBron James is easy to point out because he's more vocal and he's out there with all his works, right? Those examples, I don't like people doing things in the dark. Let's expose what you do. Expose how it should be done. Because when you expose it, it gives another person an opportunity to say, oh, you know what? That was positive. He got positive reaction when he did that. Let me do it. Let me copycat on that. So I think you need to put examples out there. When you're in that position, when you have that platform, use it to show the right way of doing things. Otherwise, where's the blueprint? Where's the road? You know what I'm saying? Build that road. Show people how to do it. So expose what you do. I feel that's what you should. Look, people are going to always criticize you, right? They're going to always criticize you for something. Look, if you got the right motives, if you got the right path, forget what people say. Do what you're supposed to do, help the people you're supposed to help, and be done with it.
My man, I land somewhere in the middle of all three of y'all.
All right.
Politicians, they shouldn't be held accountable. The people should be, because their job is to lie to get where they want to be. See, and the people in our community, I can't speak about nobody else's community. I don't think we're civically active enough. And that's why they can skate and promise us BS. And then they people love getting on Barack Obama. Or he ain't doing nothing for the brothers. If it goes back to the beginning when I said we talk about how we don't know history. In 1965, the Civil Rights Act was signed. Dr. King was right back in Lyndon Baines Johnson's face in 66 saying, we need this too, though. He said, I just did this last year. He said, yeah, that was last year, but we need this today. Barack Obama, they asked him a question. I don't remember exactly what the question was. His response was, they got to make me do it. And that's what Lyndon Baines Johnson and A. Philip Randolph, he told the president that. The president said, you got to make me do it. And Lyndon and Dr. King and A. Philip Randolph got what they wanted. I'm not saying that these dudes in these suits, these lying dudes in the suits, are not accountable. But again, it goes back to us. I would cuss out Even though it's a fictitious thing and it means nothing to you, Randy Kidd, Charlotte and everybody in Chicago, it's gonna mean something else. I cuss everybody in the world out about Harold Washington. Harold Washington didn't do this and Harold Washington didn't do that. But that's all we're gonna do. I'm only gonna tell it to Tran. I'm only gonna tell it to Charlotte. I'm gonna tell it to Big Illinois. For the record, Harold Washington was the first and the greatest mayor and the first black man, the greatest mayor in the history of Chicago. But we'll complain about Harold, even though most people didn't complain about Harold. For the record, he was excellent. No kid. I'm not saying that because he's a brother, but Harold Washington, just for side note for people that don't know Harold Washington, Chicago is one of the most, people call Chicago the Windy City. It's not because of the weather. It's because the smoke that they blow up your behind. That is a true statement. Wow. That's why it's called the Windy City, because politicians blow smoke up your behind. They blow, and that's so they call it the Windy City. Harold Washington, the city council used to be called the Machine. If you lived in a black neighborhood, it was a white representative. All your state reps were white. And they called it the Machine. So they homies, it was just cronyism all over the city. Harold Washington stepped up and changed that whole get down to the point where Kev and the other people outside of Chicago, State Representative Gutierrez was put in play by Harold Washington back in the 80s. He just retired last year. Wow. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I had to get blood of Harold Washington. I'm just using him. But see, we'll complain about Harold to Tran and Charlotte and Big Illinois, but we won't go to city council meetings. We won't sweat the hell out. The one thing, we had the privilege of being, and especially Tran, we could touch our alderman. Our alderman is now the Secretary of State of Illinois. When he see Tran, he says, "How you doing, Tran?" When he see, "How you doing, Brian?" He know us. So we had a true advantage. But by and large, we don't complain to him. We complain to Tran. Man, Mr. White didn't do this. Did you ask him? No. Well, he looked out for me. Well, you know him. That's why I said, first, we got to hold ourselves accountable. Like Tran said, "Oh, man, see, the DA did this. Did you kill that dude?" Yeah, but the DA, no. Did you complain to your alderman, your state rep, your mayor, your governor, your senators? Because the president is nobody in the state of Illinois. Because guess what, people? If y'all don't believe the president means nothing to the state of Illinois, in Massachusetts and the state of Illinois, you can go to a corner emporium and buy some marijuana and fire it up in front of the police. But guess what? It's against federal law to sell and use marijuana. So that lets you know, stop talking about this president and start talking about your reps, your aldermen, your city council people, your mayor, and your governor. Because those are the people that count. And look, people, for the record, guess how? I don't even live in Massachusetts, but guess how you got to use marijuana freely, recreational marijuana in the state of Massachusetts and the state of Illinois? We voted on it. We said we finna smoke some weed, and we did it. I can't hear you, Tran. I can't hear you.
Hold on.
I saw your lips move. Oh, he talking to somebody else. Oh, so this is why I said we got to hold ourselves accountable first. Because if we voted for legalized marijuana and did it, what the hell we mean the politicians didn't do it? We run them. They not our homies. They not our friends. Their job is civil servant. What's another word for servant? Slave. What do the slaves have to do? What the people do. What the people say do. Or we can't whip them and beat them, but we can, the unemployment is high. Well, it's going to be 1% higher when election day. Because your ass finna join the unemployed. You finna go back to doing whatever you was doing before we elected you. You was working at the law firm or such and such and such and such. See if your desk's still empty because you out of here. And in regards to celebrities, I somewhat agree with Ray Kev and I somewhat agree with Tran and Charlotte. I think the only way we can really, y'all right, they celebrities, all we pay them to do is You know, hey, dance, moonwalk, sing, act. That's all we pay them to do. So that's all they're obligated to do. But again, if we are going to sign up with these people, how about we start doing this? Yo, Tran, you're a super dope MC. You be rapping about this, you be rapping about this. What you gonna do for the people? Oh man, that ain't my get down. Now, if you don't like his answer, don't buy no more of his damn music. But don't wait for him to blow up and then say, hey, I supported you. Well, I ain't tell you I was gonna fix shit. I did fix a plate at my house, at my big pretty house, and I fixed up my car, and I fixed up my jewelry game, and I'm fixing it up with these ladies. I'm fixed. My pockets was broke, and they fixed now. See, again, we must get ahead of these things. And how about this? If we get ahead of these things, how about this? The original point of accountability. If everybody said the same thing, let's talk to our kids first. So it's a Derrick Rose on the south side and the west side of Chicago. Somewhere in Chicago, it's another Derrick Rose. If we all talking to that Derrick Rose, hey man, if you blow up, you got to help out the people, man. You and Jabari Park. It's a Anthony Davis in Chicago. It's another Derrick Rose in Chicago. It's another Patrick Beverly in Chicago. It's another Jabari Park. And hey, won't you? Hey, this is what you do when you blow up, and put the seeds of improving home and the community in their head. Don't wait till you blow up, because guess what? If you put those seeds there, just imagine if he don't become the next LeBron James, but he could. Maybe we can inspire him to become the next Doc Rivers, or the next Maverick Carter, or the next Spike Lee, or the next whoever who's going to give back to the community, because that's what's in their heart. Because if we got to raise them to be that. So y'all right, they don't owe us nothing, but we do want them to help. And with that being said, if anybody else got any closing remarks.
So all I was saying was on the thing with the weed. It was a question on the, like 3 questions on the ballot, right?
See?
Yeah, referendums. They call them referendums here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they call them there. Just some questions,
exactly.
yes, no, whatever. And my thing was, because I didn't even understand. I'm like, hell no, I'm gonna vote for, we should be able to legally smoke weed, right? I've been smoking it illegally for I don't know how long. So it should be legal. So I'm thinking it's just me. But when they came out with the reason, weed is gonna be legal. Everybody smoke weed, right? That's something that everybody do. So what you're saying is, and that's another thing, just like, just like my man was talking about, like we might not necessarily have understand all politics, because I never understood it all, but I always felt like, just from the way I was raised, that I had to vote no matter what. I just felt that way. Like it was an obligation. Once I was of legal age to vote, that was the first thing I did, registered and went to vote. I ain't know nobody on the ballot. Who black? Which is the black one? I'm gonna vote for the black one, right? You know what I'm saying? But I never and that's something that, we probably have to do a better job of, but we got so much skepticism as far as politics go. Come on, I don't believe in it. They liars. They lie. That's their job, is to lie to get to where they want to go. That's clear. Everybody. You know what I'm saying? And every year it gets more clearer. And they only lie to get your vote, right? But I'm just saying, civically, we not as in tune. Well, at least I know I wasn't. And my mother and father never told me no, but I just felt like, well, black people done struggled enough to get, to even be able to have the right to vote. So I feel like I have to vote. So that's how it's always been for me. I've never missed an election, like not a major one. I voted for every mayor in Chicago. I voted for every governor when I was there. And I voted for every president since I could vote. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I did. Even though I ain't know half the people and I ain't put no time into understanding who all these people were that I was voting for. Yeah, I know Jesse White. I'm going to vote for him every time. I know Burnett. I'm going to vote for him every time. Right? There's certain people I know, I'm going to vote for them if I see their name right there. You know what I mean? That's probably something we got to do a better job of. But, like, if you really don't believe in the process, how can you make somebody else believe in that process? Somebody or something made me believe in that process. And that's all I could tell my kids. Hey, you need to vote, right? And they can be, why? Well, you need to, you have a saying, some of the things that happen around you, right? And that's the most important thing, regardless how corrupt they are on the top, I still vote, knowing it's all corrupt and knowing these people are just lying to me. And I'm just going with my preference. But, the thing about, having civic knowledge and understanding the whole process and everything that go on, I never understood all of it. But I do at this point. I know that's all they do is lie to get to where they're trying to go. Like it's ridiculous. But I still go and vote, right? And if I don't support you, I ain't necessarily always voting just all Democratic or all whatever. I'm voting on my preference, right? And that's all I could do. I didn't have my chance to let my voice be heard. I did my part, right? And I feel better after I do it, regardless, whatever the situation. Even if I think it don't even matter, it don't even have to matter. I still did my part, so I'm satisfied with my actions that I took. You know what I mean? But in the end, it come back down to you feeling that you have to go do it, or you feeling that your voice counts. And that, even though if it don't, or if it do, it don't matter. I'm still going, in my mind, my voice, at least I put my vote in, and wherever it go from here, I did my part. If the guy I wanted to win didn't win, it ain't my fault. It wasn't enough people behind him. He was a bad candidate. Blah, blah, blah. But that part of it, and how can it really be serious when I don't even take it serious? But I still go vote every time. But I would tell I'm teaching my kids the same thing. You have to vote. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, but it got to be something, again, it start with us, right? It don't start with outside forces. It start right here in the home, where we are the ones that teach the kids what's important and what's not, and let them go. Because again, and that's all I can ever go back to, is what I got from my parents. I don't ever remember them telling me, hey, you better go vote. But I remember feeling like I had to go vote when I was of age. And I've been voting ever since, regardless how I feel about the setup or the situation.
Only thing I'll add to that,
so that's all I can do.
Only thing I add to that is voting is just the first step, though. You got to complain.
I've never complained.
Right. Because, okay, if Bozo the Clown get elected as the mayor, you need to be on his ass.
Yeah.
I wanted Cookie to win. Well, Cookie didn't win. You just going to do what I was going to ask Cookie to do. You going to do it. And that's where we fall off at. You don't have to know anything about politics or the civic inner workings of politics, but you need to know this one thing: voting is one day every 4 to 6 years. Those other days, if it's 4 years, that's 1,000 days, and 1,200 days or whatever. Them other days, you need to be standing on their necks. The easy thing is to vote. The hard thing is to pay attention and be on their ass. With that being, Ready to Kev and Shawty, y'all got anything to say before we go?
Yeah, can I add something? Just to emphasize the importance of understanding what's happening local and not focus on the big picture, which you think is like your president or your. How easy is it to go talk to the president of the United States? Extremely difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
How easy is it to go talk to your school board, someone on the school board, or someone on the city council? Aren't they're a lot easier to reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have to invest more time in those elections, in those candidates, because they're going to make the difference in your local community. The president, look, it's the bigger piece, man. It does. I mean, a figurehead. It's not something that you can rely on to change your community. And you can really, if you don't believe me, just look at the access you have to them. It's nearly impossible to actually preach the president. Your city council, your city councilman, is a lot easier. So that's where you should invest your time, your energy in making sure those people are held accountable, and when you go to elect those people, have a voice in who they are. So that's to emphasize what you were saying earlier. The president is only a figurehead. Let's not even worry about that. Let's worry about our city councilmen. Let's worry about people on our school board. Do those things. That's going to affect our community more.
Charlotte?
The only final thought I want to add is to remember that no action is an action. So when you think you're standing on the side and you're not doing anything by not saying anything, you really are. So everything that we do or don't do has an impact. So we need to be mindful of that. And again, I think what everybody said on the panel tonight about holding ourselves accountable and accountability starting with us. I feel like we say that every show, and that Brian says that every show, that we need to, wake up and start putting some action behind these things if we actually want to see change.
Remember, people, 5 calls. That's an app. Download it. It'll put you in direct connection with 5 people in your government. Download it, please. If you look, let's just be honest. Most of us ain't going nowhere. We ain't even moving to the next zip code. We ain't moving from Chicago to Hammond. We ain't going up to damn Milwaukee. We ain't going over to Kansas City. We ain't going to Iowa City. We ain't moving to St. Louis or Memphis. And everybody else, most of y'all ain't moving. So let's kill that. We need to move to Africa, man. Okay. You don't even live on Africa Street. So seeing how you ain't moving nowhere, you better get involved, and you ain't finna take over the government either, because if they could blow up Japan, they will blow your ass up too. So
Texas HRap, we working on you, man.
So either you get involved, like the Marines, lead, follow, get the hell out the way. Lead, follow, or get the hell out the way. All these delusions of grandeur. I'm going to take over the world. Hey, man, I'm going to save about $400,000, and then I'm going to the moon. Stop. You're not doing that. Knock it off. But what you can do is make your community and the people who are part of your community, and the people part of your family. And look, I ain't even going to say that. I'm going to say that for my Tuesday show, because that's 100% mine. But I was going to get y'all some of the HRap. This is the Brian and the Friends show. Now, with that being said, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting at all times. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe, please, on YouTube and on Build for This Network. And I want Charlotte and I want everybody to stay back for like 2 minutes after the closing song stop, because I want to ask y'all a question. But as far as of now, I see y'all on this platform in 2 weeks, because I know ain't nobody really trying to do nothing Thanksgiving. That Trick the Fan been kicked in. It's over. But with that being said, man, like I always salute Combat Jack by saying, dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor and surround sound. And I'm going to say something that I heard today. Build what you want and build what you want and what you can control. Don't deviate from the The is balance. You are the balance. That's from Egyptian. The Egyptian said that. Now you are the balance. So don't deviate from the With that being said, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is HRap. This is Build for This Network. This is the End of the Bench podcast, Build and Destroy, where we attempt to build up the community and destroy anything else. I need y'all to hold up for about 90 seconds, and I'll be right back. For the listeners, thank you and good night.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for ties, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth in the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.